Merci à vous d'être là pour conclure en beauté cette nouvelle édition du Festival Omnivore. Il faut que vous ayez conscience du privilège et de la chance d'assister à cette masterclass de cette cuisinière qui vient d'une région d'Italie qu'on connaît très mal, qu'on a entreaperçu hier de l'autre côté de la frontière en Slovénie avec la chef Anna Ross. Elles sont à peu près situées à 50 km l'une de l'autre, chacune de l'autre côté d'une frontière. Je vous demande de l'accueillir très chaleureusement. On va cuisiner, on va travailler autour des herbes, on va se poser des questions autour du végétal et on va conclure en beauté avec Antonia Klugmann, que j'invite sur scène. Antonia Klugmann de L'argine a Venco. Ciao Antonia.
Ciao.
Come stai? Come?
Gabriele, master chef.
Ciao Gabriele.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm so sorry that I don't speak French. I will speak English, and he will gently translate for me. So thank you so much.
I will try.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I am Antonia Klugmann. I come from a little region in the northeast of Italy. My region is really on the border with Slovenia, but one of the characteristics of the region is to be influenced by several cultures. And I think the interesting fact of that is that it's a slow layering process. It's not something that happened one day by the other. It happens through centuries. You know, for 6 centuries, my city, Trieste, was not Italian. This, of course, meant a lot for the kitchen.
Juste, je dis un mot.
Yeah.
Antonia nous rappelle qu'elle vient donc de cette région du nord-est de l'Italie, qui est donc vraiment à la frontière slovène et qui, la ville de Trieste, possède une très longue et très ancienne culture de plusieurs siècles. Please go.
And yeah, you can see in the map where my restaurant is. It's really on the border. It was a battlefield during the First World War, during the Second World War, and what I fall in love with that little piece of land because it really represented what's for me being on the border in a really truly and authentic way. Yeah, being open and unclosed, you know.
Comme elle disait, yeah. C'est une terre qui a été ravagée, en tout cas très meurtrie par la Première et la Seconde Guerre mondiale, mais elle est très attachée aussi à cette notion d'être si proche d'une frontière, à la fois d'une autre culture, mais en même temps très ouverte et disponible pour accueillir les autres cultures.
Yeah, and when I decided to be an entrepreneur when I was 26, now I'm 43, what I was looking for was beauty. Because I think that a chef has to be creative for a lifetime, not only for a decade, not only for 2 years or something like this, not for a season. We have, as cooks, to think about our lifetime. And being in a place that it's really the mirror of what we want, we have to create a restaurant that really is shaped around us. We don't have to be a slave of our work. Through the work, through our job, we have to build our room to stay creative, to stay happy, and in a way, keep going. I think one of the characteristics of my cuisine is that if you come now, it's really different from what you could taste 10 years ago. But that's also what pushes me, because I think every service, every day is different. I have to be different. So even if the restaurant seems isolated, I'm really related to everything it's out there, to the world, you know.
You know, I'm here on stage for 3 days.
Yeah.
So I just to keep my respiration to translate, you know, what you say. Non, je me permets de la couper parce que...
Yeah, so sorry, I speak a lot.
Quand elle a décidé effectivement de devenir restauratrice à l'âge de 26 ans, Antonia faisait des études de droit avant, elle n'était pas destinée au monde de la cuisine. Elle avait aussi comme projet d'ouvrir un restaurant qui était un projet de vie, pas simplement un projet à l'échelle d'une saison, d'une décennie, mais véritablement d'un projet de vie qui va pouvoir avoir un impact. Donc il s'agissait de construire finalement et de façonner un lieu qui allait permettre ça et de durer et de permettre encore une fois ce projet de vie de s'exprimer.
Yeah. I decided to have for you the tasting plate right at the beginning because what I think about a kitchen today is that taste, feeling something, and taste again is the only thing that matters. So
donc, vous avez
now,
des petites assiettes qui sont en train d'être voilà, avec l'idée de bien faire comprendre, et c'est la dernière fois que vous allez manger, puisqu'après on s'arrête, pour vraiment goûter. Could you just say a word about what it is?
Of course. The fact that on the stage I will present to you two vegetarian dishes. One made by beans, pasta e fagioli, and the other one is a fig. So I wanted to present something that I have in my restaurant that was maybe the third option for the stage. Another leguminous, you know. Here on the stage I have the bean. Over there you have the lentils. The lentils are smoked and roasted several times during the service. They are al dente. And that's what I love about this dish. Always you think about leguminous, even in Italian traditional cuisine, as something that is like pure, that is maybe sometimes a little heavy.
Overcooked.
Yeah, but they can be al dente, and in the south of Italy and in the center part of our country, even in Tuscany, in some families we eat the leguminous al dente. So they are smoked, roasted, and then seasoned by a glaze made by red pepperoni. Only the juice of red pepperoni roasted and then reduced a lot to obtain something that is very, very flavor, a little bitterness inside. And then you have the clover. What's clover? Clover in Italian is trifoglio.
Donc c'est le trèfle.
This,
donc juste un mot, vous avez compris. Vous l'avez, moi je ne l'ai pas. Ça doit être ces lentilles un peu croquantes, hein, avec ce jus de pepperoni, donc de poivron, qui permet de créer la liaison. Pour une fois, vous imaginez, moi j'imagine, vous le goûtez. Et on va parler du trèfle maintenant, effectivement.
Yeah.
Le trèfle à 4 feuilles ou le trèfle à 3 feuilles.
What's important about the herbs for me? The herbs are always the mirror of the season and of a land, of the soil. So I don't buy the herbs and I don't forage something that is rare. I really use everything that is common, the weeds, everything that is flavored by nature without any water need, no you don't have to add anything to the soil, to what's common, you know, because all these herbs that I found, that I grow, that I let come in my little piece of land, they are perfectly, I don't know, adatte. They are perfectly, come si dice?
Come si dice, adatte?
Come si dice? They are perfectly aware of what they have in the soil.
Okay. Elles sont parfaitement adaptées, tout simplement, à leur climat, à leur sol et à leur écosystème.
Yeah.
J'en dis un mot. On va beaucoup parler de ces herbes, effectivement, qui représentent le territoire, une certaine idée de la saisonnalité aussi, évidemment, et qui vont nous inviter à comprendre l'importance de ces herbes et des goûts qu'il y a dans ces herbes pour pouvoir les amener dans un nouveau monde.
One of the characteristics about the herbs in Italy this year was the lack of water. So I think you had the same problem here in France.
Definitely.
So if you have even a little quantity of them in your garden, I'm speaking really about clover, about sage, about rosemary, really simple ingredients, oregano, marjoram. You know that this year they were more bitter,
bon,
you know?
Comme elle le dit, hein, en Italie comme en France, évidemment, ces herbes aromatiques ont vécu évidemment un été extrêmement sec, qui vont renforcer l'amertume, la puissance, hein, de ces herbes, et qui vont aussi du coup être une expression pour le coup de l'herbe sauvage en Italie particulièrement intéressante.
Yeah, and so this year, those dishes that I will present to you are, I think, the mirror of that bitterness that is really present in all my tasting menu through the dishes. And I didn't try to balance it. I really tried to help it. you know? And helping this bitterness, I found out that one of the most authentic and truly Italian tastes in the traditional cuisine is bitterness. If you think about sour, about sweetness, about acidity, you think about a lot of different kitchens in the world. You think about the Chinese, the French one, the modern French cuisine is so interesting about the acidity, about the sourness. But what's really Italian? It's bitterness. You have the radicchio, you have the chicory, you have all those Mediterranean herbs that are really present in all our traditional dishes. But, yeah, sorry.
J'imagine que
I'm so
de toute
sorry.
façon, Antonia s'exprime très bien, donc on comprend vraiment aisément ce qu'elle dit, mais voilà, il y a quand même l'importance de rappeler que si on pense finalement au goût, au vrai goût de la cuisine italienne, on va avoir cette spécificité autour de l'amertume. Si on pense à l'acidité ou à des choses plus sucrées ou plus douces, on va avoir finalement un panel extrêmement riche de cuisine possible, de la cuisine asiatique, française ou autre, alors que si on pense effectivement à une cuisine autour de l'amertume, c'est l'Italie. Et c'est l'Italie dans toutes ses expressions.
Yeah.
Et on parle évidemment d'un certain nombre de produits essentiels, el radicchio, donc ces salades amères qu'on va vraiment, qui vont être l'expression la plus pure de cette gastronomie.
And again, I thought about what was the role of those herbs in my cuisine. And again, I asked to myself, what's the role of the chef in this occasion? I know perfectly what's fancy in our world. I know the grassy flavor that comes out from the fresh herbs. I know the aesthetic that is all around the world about the fresh herbs. I know that it is Instagrammable, I don't know the English word for that beauty. I know perfectly. And I really admire through the years what a big chef in the world has done with herbs. Of course, I admire René Redzepi so much, and Michel Bras, and Alain Passard, and Pascal Barbeau, and Toutain. So I know perfectly what is that aesthetic, and I think, a student of that aesthetic. But maybe the Italians now are, in the last 5 years, are using in another way the herbs. And they are so important for my cuisine. So I really wanted to show how deep, how interesting can be the flavor of some herbs that are so common. And again, another question. What's luxury? What is luxury? It's the perfect herb that you have from a garden picked by the hands of cooks that are all around stressed about the perfect herb? Or luxury is having what's common but perfectly in season, perfectly sustainable and so common? I don't know.
I know you have the answer.
Yeah.
Un petit mot sur effectivement cette idée autour d'une certaine définition du luxe et du travail autour de ces herbes qui sont parfois un peu oubliées ou finalement un peu méprisées. On voit du laurier, on voit des herbes de l'origan, des choses qui finalement, dans un jardin méditerranéen, sont devenues tellement communs qu'on s'en fout un peu par rapport à justement ce qui pourrait avoir un désir sur Instagram beaucoup plus fort, ces petites pousses extrêmement généreuses, un peu sexy. Et là, il s'agit justement de redonner du sens et de la valeur à quelque chose qui est vraiment au pied de chez nous.
And again, the clover. Maybe the luxury is here because the clover cannot be buy at the market. You really cannot buy it. So maybe it's more expensive, it's more valuable than something that you have to pay a lot in the market, but you can have everywhere in the world. This is something that you cannot buy. And this is so useful in the kitchen garden because these herbs that is spread around in my kitchen garden really is helpful to the soil because it is a nitrogen fixator.
Si.
Yeah, so good for the plants, and it's everywhere. And I don't have to put anything to it.
Do you think we have the same in France? This is the same clover?
Clover, yeah, of course.
Donc,
and
on parle du trèfle,
for the organic farmers, this is so precious. And that's from this herb, I obtained the green sauce that was on the lentils. Pure clover, without anything else, only a bit of salt. Chlorophyll from it.
Donc on re-questionne la notion encore une fois de cette idée du luxe, ou en tout cas de la préciosité. Peut-être que la réponse peut être dans l'idée que finalement ces trèfles qu'on va avoir partout dans les jardins, leur fragilité et finalement leur côté très éphémère font que de toute façon on ne va pas pouvoir les acheter. Donc peut-être se poser la question de les utiliser quand on a la possibilité évidemment dans son jardin pour donner du sens, d'autant plus que cette plante est un fixateur de, you said what?
Azote. Nitrogen.
Nitrogen.
Yeah, nitrogen. So now I will show you what is the entrée of my restaurant. This is a fig. When I play with all the Italian traditions, I really try to do it not starting with the player thing. I really start from the ingredient. I try to take it out from it, something that is only mine. But of course, suddenly the tradition, my being Italian, comes out, even if I don't think about it at the beginning of my transformation. So, even for me, it was stunning that a fig could become meatball, polpette al sugo. You know?
Vous avez compris. Donc là, effectivement, moi, en voyant cette casserole d'ailleurs, je me suis dit, tiens, une boulette de viande. Et en fait, c'est une figue rôtie, hein, littéralement, qui peut remplacer la boulette de viande, la polpette al sugo, donc cette recette classique italienne, qui a presque surpris Antonia de cette capacité à pouvoir se transformer et à amener justement cette tradition dans laquelle elle est ancrée vers une nouvelle idée.
So the fig, what I've done here, I have two fig trees in my garden, and for the first time I could have good figs from the green one. It is an old tree, and this is cooked for about 3 hours at 80 degrees with a little quantity of humidity and the air going on. Here I will cut.
3 hours, you said.
3 hours.
Okay, 3 heures à 80 degrés.
I will cut for you in half so that you can
This
maybe...
is like a jam, probably.
And you will see what's magic for me. Huh? This is the gel, the natural juice of the fig kept inside of... I don't know, where's the camera?
Maybe give me one.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, because it's really, when I opened for the first time a fig cooked in this way, I was really shocked because everything is inside so juicy. So when you eat it, it's really like meat. It's really eating meat, but with a sweetness and a sour flavor that it's so interesting. That line inside, it's only the water of the fig. So during the service, I start with a tomato sauce made from the yellow tomato of my garden.
Antonia, can I eat it? Do you really use it, or can I eat it?
No, you can. There's no flavor added, so no sugar, no salt. Everything is totally nature. So it will absorb a little bit the flavor of the tomato, but not too much, because another point here is the details. You know, the details. Devil is in the details. The skin has to be perfectly whole. When I pick them from the tree, and I pick them personally once a day, they have to be perfectly whole. That's the only way, after 3 hours of cooking, to keep the juice inside.
Moi qui ai eu la chance de goûter, on a cette texture d'une boulette de viande effectivement qui aurait cuit, qui du coup c'est un peu figé, avec le collagène de la viande qui se serait un petit peu permis de lier l'ensemble. Il y a une mâche très différente, pas du tout confiturée comme on pourrait imaginer une figue rôtie par exemple. On va avoir le fruit qui va être...
Freshness, huh?
Exactly.
You could feel the freshness, not the sweetness. Yeah?
Exactly.
The sweetness will come from the sauce of tomato.
So we have a tomato sauce here.
Yeah.
A yellow tomato sauce.
Yeah, from the garden.
Okay.
The yellow tomatoes are much better than the red ones in the northern part of Italy, I think.
Okay.
And that's why I use them.
Donc, Vous avez compris. Hein, l'idée aussi est de faire très attention à la figue elle-même lorsqu'elle va être cueillie pour conserver la peau dans son intégralité, car ça va avoir un rôle très important au moment de cette cuisson, qui est donc ensuite cuit dans cette sauce de tomates jaunes qui sont bien meilleures, on le sait, dans le nord de l'Italie.
Yeah, they come from my garden. Yeah, you can taste them. How are they? Yeah, it's interesting because they are acid, they are fruity. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Not too sugar.
No. Okay, in the syringe, what I have, it's water made by bay leaves.
Okay.
All my infusion are very simple, and every time I make infusion, I change the method because every single herb is different. So for the rosemary, for example, I cut it during he cuts it during the service, very, very thin, and adding the hot water, we made a tea only in few seconds with the rosemary. For the laurel, we put the leaves from the tree directly in the water. We dry it a little bit. This is the dry one, this is the fresh one, and whole. And then water.
How long you put it in water?
This is the laurel is so strong, so it really changes through the summer, the period where of cooking, from 1 hour to 3. At not really high temperature, you have to stay at 80 degrees, again, not too high.
Okay.
And you made an infusion and you obtain this laurel
Vous
broth.
avez compris, donc il s'agit simplement d'une infusion de ces feuilles de laurier qui ont été légèrement séchées. On a des fleurs, des feuilles fraîches et légèrement séchées. Et si on pouvait faire la même chose avec le romarin, il serait coupé extrêmement finement. Et là, ce serait une infusion minute au moment du service. Et donc, on va obtenir cette eau de laurier.
And this is a powder made by the same leaves. Again, what we were talking about on the phone, where what's a spice? Maybe a laurel leaf can become a spice in a very simple way. So you keep the season a little longer and the freshness also. And you obtain something that is totally different from as a flavor from the stock, you know. And again, you go deep in one only ingredient in different way using really, really simple techniques. One thing about my kitchen is that everything, I think, with sensibility can be replicato.
Copier, répliquer.
Copy.
Vous avez compris, on s'interroge là aujourd'hui avec Antonia sur finalement cette dimension entre ce qu'on pourrait appeler, nous ici en France, les aromates et les épices. Qu'est-ce qu'une épice si ce n'est les aromates de l'ailleurs? Et les aromates, les épices...
Wow, so sorry. Did I smash you?
Non,
sorry.
Et les épices sont finalement les aromates de chez nous, au sens de notre environnement. La question de ces feuilles de laurier qui sont donc littéralement séchées pourrait être une épice à l'autre bout du monde, ou peut-être un peu plus loin, mais d'Italie ou du jardin d'Antonia, alors que c'est vraiment, encore une fois, un produit d'une très grande simplicité et voire même un peu méprisé, peut-être de la proximité justement qu'il y a avec les cuisines.
Yeah, and sorry for the splash, but
Don't worry.
It's only water. I'm lucky because I didn't ruin your jacket. I will go directly on the dish as I do during the service. So the broth at the last moment inside.
Okay.
Then the sauce of tomato on the top of the fig like this. I already added some salt here. And then I will go with my pincetta, che ho preso già. Ce l'ho qua, ce l'ho qua, ce
La
l'ho qua.
petite pince.
I will go with the herbs that are very typical of the tomato sauce. So marjoram.
Marjolaine.
Majorana, see, thyme.
Le thym, bien sûr.
These herbs are inside the sauce. The basilic. And the powder of the laurel at the end. These flavors are so strong. If you know those herbs, you know it. They are very, very, very strong. And a little bit of oil just 2 drops on the top, because the oil, the fresh oil, the raw oil, is so important in Italian, you know, flavor at the end. Yeah, that's the dish.
Wonderful.
Figs. Yeah.
Figs.
Figs
On peut
that are
applaudir
like
cette
meatballs.
petite
Yeah.
polpette di figo. Comment on pourrait dire? Come si dice? La polpette di figo o figo?
Figo al sugo.
Figo al sugo. Donc le figue à la sauce.
Yeah, figo alla sauce.
Très bien.
Correct. And you can believe me, when you play like this with the tradition, with your guests that are Italian, maybe it's even more difficult than with people that comes from all over the world. I have so many Italian guests, you know. I think 85% of my guests are Italian. When you play with tradition, they are like, no, well, calm down, it's a polpetta al sugo. But then they have this as an entrance, and they, with a piece of bread, of ciabatta, and they are like, no problem.
Bon, Antonia voulait préciser aussi que sa clientèle est majoritairement italienne et que parfois, justement, jouer avec les codes de la tradition, c'est pas si simple et qu'il faut vraiment réussir à leur faire goûter pour faire comprendre que non, on est sur finalement une réinterprétation. Et avec un petit morceau de ciabatta, ça finit de convaincre tout le monde.
Another dish that I think is my interpretation of something that is so Italian, so poor, is pasta e fagioli. When I started this dish in my kitchen and we started the trials, we wanted to have something that was really minimal. Only 2 ingredients, if it's possible, the pasta, the beans, and the oregano extract, and the powder, and the broth, and the oil, and everything like this. Then I tasted with Gabriele the dishes, no emotion at all. It was only a technical, I think, scale of all the ingredients, and from the lunch to the dinner, it became like a carnival. So, yeah, not minimal. But I wanted to show you this dish because I think it's really, I think the mirror of what we are doing now.
Donc on va parler de pasta e fagioli. Donc c'est cette finalement recette très populaire, hein, encore une fois, de pâtes et de haricots.
And I will show you how we made this today when we arrived. These are really not dry at 100%. We make this pasta in the morning, then we put it in front of the window of the kitchen and let it dry. During the lunch service, the cooking time is about 3-4 minutes. 4 minutes of cooking in the boiling water, and then 2 minutes of rest with the water of oregano. Here, I will show you really...
Antonia, is it important to have this kind of dry? Is it important to have not too dry?
No,
or
you can
it
dry.
Depends?
It depends. During the service of the dinner, we keep it in the water a little bit longer, and the texture is a little bit harder. That's it. Very simple. It's like gnocchetti sardi.
Okay, gnocchetti sardi.
The shape is also pisarei. Here you don't have egg. You have only water and flour. Okay. Double O and semola. The recipe is 1 kilo of flour and 480 grams of water.
Donc vous avez entendu 1 kilo of flour, a mix of flour and semola?
Yeah, semola and double O.
50-50?
Yeah, no.
It's
about 150 grams of semola for 85 grams of double O.
Ok, vous avez la recette donc des gnocchetti sardi de Antonia qui permettent d'avoir cette petite forme.
Vai giù, Gabri, cucina. So we cook it. Yeah, we cook it for a little bit. What's important about the pasta is when you cook it, I want it, because I made this dish during the summer. During the summer, you don't want to have a very hot, heavy dish of pasta. So this pasta is my version also of a summer tiepid, not hot dish made with pasta e fagioli.
Okay.
So we serve it at room temperature, not hot.
Donc, Antonia précise, et je le remets.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Ok.
Yeah.
Que c'est presque une forme de saisonnalité de la cuisson des pâtes et du service des pâtes avec la volonté de proposer une assiette qui va plutôt être une assiette autour de la tiédeur plutôt que ces assiettes très riches, très chaudes, fumantes de pâtes. On n'a pas besoin de ça, on n'a pas envie de ça non plus pendant l'été, évidemment.
Yeah, and we played a lot with the fat, defatting all the dishes.
On va enlever un maximum de gras.
What we put at the end on the dish is not oil, but water. So we use as a final touch on the dish the water of oregano, not the oil of oregano. This is the oil made by a very, very good quality of dry oregano. And it's really cooked not for a lot, not under vacuum, but on the fire with garlic. And we obtain a very, very tasty oil.
Vous avez compris, hein, donc c'est une huile d'origan qui va être, finalement l'origan va être cuit, chauffé dans cette préparation, huile avec un peu d'ail également.
And here, again, we don't put the oil. We season the pasta. I don't know if you can, is it correct, this one? Yeah.
You don't put salt in the water.
No, never. I put the salt here.
Okay.
Even when I do the dry pasta normal like spaghetti,
Okay.
I don't use the salt in the water. I always add it in a pot because you know, to have a very, very manticated and pleased pasta, you use a lot of the pot,
Okay.
not very much the water, you know.
Okay.
So the salt and a very good quality of pepper. This is an aromatic one. This is Timur.
Okay, donc un poil de Timur.
A little bit pomegranate flavor, you know, inside, very citric, you know.
Voilà, on a ce côté très effectivement citrique, l'acidité.
And what I put here for about 30 seconds to rest is the water from the oregano.
Donc cette eau d'origan.
And what happens to the pasta when you let it rest? It closes all the pores and becomes again al dente. It's strange because your perception when you take away the pasta from the boiling water is very, very different than the rested one. So I let it rest. I let it absorb the broth. And I think what is sensitivity for a cook, I don't know. Maybe is to use all those details in the correct way to have a very, very simple dish. But at the end, all those details, again, as the figs make the difference when you taste it, you know? Yeah?
Vous avez compris? Non, mais
So sorry,
non, that's funny.
I'm terrible, too many words.
Non, mais il y a cette notion effectivement de retrouver une forme de croquant de la pâte al dente, puisque quand on la sort, elle va avec ses os se refermer un petit peu comme les pores de la peau.
What was that?
I am telling anything, you know?
Okay.
Bullshits.
No. Okay, now I go on with the cream of beans.
Et donc là,
Yeah.
this is pasta e fagioli.
Yeah, pasta e fagioli. So, I season the pasta exactly one table by the other. So I don't do the pasta for all the service, of course, only because the guests have to eat warm temperature or something like this. This is translate because this is very important.
Elle veut absolument préciser que chaque finalement assiette de pâtes de ce plat va être réalisée à la minute, à la demande, et pour avoir à la fois le bon assaisonnement et aussi la bonne température. Donc on va avoir cette crème de haricots qui vient lier la pâte.
Yeah, and then I add the water to the bean cream.
Donc on va
Why I do that? Because if you have to season the pasta with another cream with the same texture, you don't feel the difference. So using the same ingredients, you can obtain a sauce to season the other. Okay? So now I will add everything together on the dish. I will only say what's left here of the preparation that, of course, I cannot show you, but that are here. This is more oregano, water,
okay.
Only
a little bit more stronger.
Yeah, a little stronger with the salt inside,
okay.
And I texturized it a little bit with the maizena.
Okay,
with the cornstarch.
On va avoir
okay?
un peu de,
a little bit.
Okay, juste un peu de farine de maïs qui vient donner un peu de texture à cette eau d'origan un peu plus puissante.
This is an extract made by the leaves of a lot of oregano to obtain this quantity.
Voilà, donc ça c'est une huile qui va être extraite en fait des feuilles d'origan frais. Il en faut beaucoup pour obtenir cette petite...
A lot, yeah. And this is the sage powder. Again, the sage or an herb that becomes the spice.
Évidemment, on connaît bien la sauge, mais là on va avoir cette sauce séchée qui va être transformée en poudre.
And this is another thing that I think is so interesting, and it's really present not only in my kitchen, but in a lot of the modern ones in Italy. And it's the combination between leguminous and nocciole, that is noisette.
Les noisettes, oui.
Les noisettes. This is an oil, only oil and noisette blended together.
Okay. Une pâte de noisette. Hein?
Yeah. This is not something that I invented, that the leguminose and the noisette are perfectly matched together. This is something that I think is the new code about the leguminose in my country, and this is something that I will use on this dish. This is really only noisette, oil, and blended. Okay. I need a little bit of water in it, or oil, thank you. And this is a paste made only by red hot chili pepper. I wanted to say that, red hot chili pepper and tomato. Roasted together in the oven and then blended with the extra virgin olive oil. And that is the spiciness that you have in this dish. As I said to you, the Timor black pepper and this are the spiciness of the dish.
Donc on a compris qu'on a une pâte de noisette qui est derrière, qui va être un peu déliée avec de l'eau. Et là, on a les fameux red hot chili peppers qui... et le côté un peu piquant de cette recette.
Yeah, correct. So I go on the dish as
et on va
in my
cette
kitchen.
Ultime assiette de cette édition.
This is so important. The last moment of the dish is in the life, I think, of a simple dish as this one is the way you assemble everything is so important. So if this is too cold, it doesn't work. If this is too watery, it doesn't work. So it's
Donc vous
so
avez
strange,
compris, hein, il y a la nécessité d'avoir la texture parfaite. Si c'est trop froid, ça va pas marcher. S'il y a trop d'eau là-dedans, ça va pas marcher. On ne sait pas très bien pourquoi, mais il faut réussir à trouver cette balance, cet équilibre.
Yeah, and I do like this.
Ah.
Thank you. Ancora. Metti un po' d'olio. Metti un po' d'olio, deve diventare un po' più liquido.
Et donc là, on va avoir cette
Sorry, I interrupt you.
Cette purée de haricots qui va être un petit peu plus déliée. Hein, on voit la texture n'est pas tout à fait la même avec cette eau d'origan.
So I add the second cream on the top of it, and then I start with the
Donc cette
water.
eau d'origan qui va être un petit peu liée.
As you see, I'm adding water, not oil, on the top of it.
Vous avez compris, hein? Donc c'est pas de l'huile avec de l'origan, c'est vraiment cet origan lié à la fécule de maïs.
Yeah. And now the extract. Ho bisogno anche per favore delle foglie fresche di origano. The extract of oregano.
Donc cet extrait d'origan dont il faut des tonnes de feuilles pour avoir une petite quantité.
And the noisette on the top. Spreads very, very carefully because this flavor is so strong.
Donc cette petite pâte de noisette qui va être
Yeah.
délicatement mise et pas en mettre trop parce qu'elle est très puissante en termes de goût. On va avoir des feuilles fraîches d'origan.
Ah, è la mia pinzetta, sempre.
Si.
So sorry. I'm not a precise person at all, but this is my only instrument that I'm really obsessed with. I don't know why. I think that helps me to be more precise sometimes.
But you don't use it.
Yeah.
You need to have it in mind.
Yeah. And then the red chili pepper paste.
On va avoir cette pâte,
And then the
légèrement
powder
pimentée.
of sage.
la poudre de sauge. Est-ce qu'on la voit bien? On la voit bien.
So sorry. And the dish is finished.
Si ce plat est terminé, ça veut dire qu'on a presque terminé. Et je propose qu'on remercie chaleureusement Antonia
It's a
Klugmann.
pleasure.
Thank you very much. Grazie a voi,
Thank you
grazie
for the
mille.
translation. It was a pleasure.
C'était un plaisir de terminer avec Antonia Klugmann, qu'il faut absolument rencontrer dans son restaurant à cette frontière slovène. Antonia, moi je te dis
Grazie, è stato un piacere. Grazie mille.
grazie a voi, grazie
Grazie.
a voi. Et moi je vous remercie tous et toutes d'avoir été avec nous pendant
Grazie,
ces 3
Gabriele.
jours. Merci beaucoup pour voilà, permettre à ces cuisinières, ces cuisiniers de voilà, partager leur passion sur cette grande scène. Et moi je vous dis à bientôt. Ciao.
Grazie.